day 50, only 12,198 verses to go. Man, I look tired. This is a particularly tough section of the Bible to read because it's all about God telling these huge nations that they're in a lot of trouble. So much trouble, in fact, that we come across song lyrics in chapter 14 where worms and maggots are crawling over the dead bodies of Israel's enemies. Worms and maggots, Lord, come by our... Hey, I know I'd find it eventually. This is actually no fun at all as Moab shave their heads and go about weeping, and Damascus is described as a heap of ruins. Cush get attacked by people who are tall and smooth. It sounds like the end of a pretty nice spa day, but in fact they feed their enemies to the birds and wild animals on the mountains. Oh, never seen that on a Groupon voucher. Egypt end up in famine and civil war, and there's this mind-boggling moment in chapter 19 in verse 22 where God says that he's going to strike Egypt with a plague, specifically so that they'll turn towards him and he can heal them and look after them. Then Isaiah takes his job perhaps a little bit too seriously when he goes around butt naked for 3 years just so he can show the Egyptians that one day they'll be led away with their bums hanging out when Assyria defeats them. What a way to deliver a sermon! Whew, that's pretty good actually. Oh, what else does this say?
Put your clothes on, you
After God has declared judgment on all the other nations, he turns his attention to Jerusalem, and he's obviously devastated that the people he loves are going to be ransacked by the people around them. These are warnings that God gave to Jerusalem long before it got destroyed, but they didn't care. They were just like, hey, let's have a drink and something to eat. We could all be dead in the morning anyway. Because they're being so stubborn, Isaiah prophesies that a guy called Eliakim will take over the throne, and then it happens in spectacular fashion in 2 Kings 23. Oh, that's a lucky guess. Chapter 24 is pretty scary because it's all about the devastation of the earth and how God's going to wreck everything because everybody's turned away from his commandments and are pleasing themselves. Man, I really hope this one isn't a lucky guess. Chapters 25 and 26 are much needed relief after chapter 24 where it says that God will prepare a feast for all people and that the dead will be resurrected. There's even a prediction in chapter 27 that the exiles will get restored back to Jerusalem, and we saw that prophecy came true on day 35 in Nehemiah. Tune in tomorrow for more crazy predictions.